What's up, Wrestlingverse family? Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, you just clicked on the right video because we're about to break down one of the most explosive, most unexpected, and most absolutely incredible tag team matches we have witnessed in recent WWE history. I'm talking about CM Punk and LA Knight joining forces to take on the legendary Usos, and family. This match delivered everything we could have hoped for and so much more. Before we dive into this instant classic, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell because we've got incredible wrestling content coming your way every single day here on Wrestlingverse CC. And drop a comment below telling me, were you Team Punk and Knight or were you rolling with the Usos? Let's get into this breakdown. Let me set the stage for you, Wrestlingverse family, because the build-up to this match was absolutely phenomenal. CM Punk, the best in the world, the Second City Saint, the voice of the voiceless, returned to WWE after nearly a decade away, and his return has been nothing short of spectacular. Punk came back with a chip on his shoulder, with unfinished business, and with a desire to prove that he's still one of the best professional wrestlers on the planet. LA Knight, on the other hand, has been on an absolute rocket ship to stardom. This man has captured the hearts of the WWE universe with his charisma, his microphone skills, and his undeniable star power. LA Knight is not just a wrestler, he's a megastar in the making, and every time he gets on that microphone and says, "Yeah," the crowd goes absolutely ballistic. His confidence, his swagger, his ability to back up every single word he says, that's what makes LA Knight special. Now, you take these two incredible superstars, two men who are used to doing things their own way, two massive egos, two guys who don't play well with others, and you tell them they have to work together as a tag team. On paper, this sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. Punk is methodical, calculated, and cerebral. Knight is explosive, unpredictable, and in-your-face aggressive. These are oil and water, fire and ice, two completely different styles and personalities. But standing across the ring from them are the Usos, Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso, quite possibly the greatest tag team of this generation and arguably one of the greatest tag teams in WWE history. These twins have held tag team gold more times than most wrestlers have had championship matches. They've been at the top of the tag team division for over a decade. They've been the cornerstone of the Bloodline, the most dominant faction in modern WWE history. The Usos don't just beat teams, they dismantle them. They embarrass them. They send messages that reverberate throughout the entire wrestling world. Jimmy and Jey have that twin telepathy, that natural chemistry that comes from being family, from growing up together, from spending their entire lives in this business side by side. They know what the other is thinking before they think it. They execute tandem offense that looks effortless because they've been doing it since they were kids. So when this match was announced, the wrestling world was buzzing. Can CM Punk and LA Knight coexist long enough to defeat the most decorated tag team in WWE? Do they even have a chance against brothers who have been teaming together their entire lives? The oddsmakers, the analysts, the experts, almost everyone was picking the Usos to walk away with the victory. And honestly, that made sense. Experience, chemistry, legacy, all the intangibles pointed toward the Usos. But CM Punk and LA Knight had something that couldn't be measured on paper. They had motivation. They had something to prove. Punk needed to show that even after all this time away, he could still compete at the absolute highest level. Knight needed to prove that he belonged in the main event picture, that he wasn't just all talk, that he could deliver when the lights were brightest and the stakes were highest. The atmosphere when these four superstars made their entrances was absolutely electric. The crowd was split, chanting for all four competitors, knowing they were about to witness something special. CM Punk's entrance brought that familiar cult of personality, energy, that aura of rebellion and defiance that has followed him throughout his entire career. The ovation he received was deafening. Then LA Knight came out, and the building nearly exploded. This man has the crowd in the palm of his hand every single time he appears. The "yeah" chants echoing throughout the arena, the energy he brings, it's infectious. You could feel the electricity in the air. These two megastars, standing side by side, ready for war. And then the Usos made their entrance, and you could feel the shift in energy. These are champions, these are warriors, these are men who have proven time and time again that they are elite. The respect they command, the presence they have, it's undeniable. When Jimmy and Jey Uso walk down that ramp, everyone knows things are about to get serious. The bell rang, and family, from that very first moment, this match was an absolute war. CM Punk started the match against Jey Uso, and the technical prowess on display was incredible. Punk with his ground-based attack, his submission expertise, trying to slow down the athletic Jey Uso. But Jey is no slouch in the technical department either. These two traded holds, counters, and reversals that had the crowd on their feet. Punk tagged in LA Knight, and the dynamic immediately changed. Knight brought power and intensity, throwing Jey around the ring with authority. Knight was talking trash, getting in the Usos' heads, doing what he does best. He hit a beautiful suplex, followed by his signature strikes, and you could see Jimmy on the apron getting frustrated, wanting to get in there and help his brother. The Usos are masters at cutting the ring in half, and that's exactly what they did. They tagged in Jimmy, and the twins started using their signature quick tags, their double team moves, isolating LA Knight in their corner. This is vintage Usos right here, textbook tag team wrestling. They hit Knight with a double superkick, and the impact echoed throughout the arena. Knight was in trouble, the crowd was rallying behind him, and CM Punk was pacing on the apron, hand extended, waiting for the tag. Knight showed incredible resilience, fighting off both Usos, battling out of their corner, and finally making the hot tag to CM Punk. The crowd erupted. Punk came in like a house on fire, taking down both Jimmy and Jey with a series of strikes and high-impact moves. He hit his signature running knee in the corner on Jimmy, followed by the Bulldog, and you could feel the momentum shifting. Punk climbed to the top rope, looking for his signature elbow drop, but Jey Uso recovered and shoved him off the top rope. Punk crashed hard to the outside, and the Usos immediately capitalized. They went after Punk on the outside, throwing him into the barricade, into the steel steps, trying to take him out of the equation. This is the Usos' strategy: divide and conquer, eliminate one opponent and then overwhelm the other. LA Knight had seen enough. He launched himself over the top rope with a suicide dive that took out both Usos. The crowd lost their minds. Knight was fired up, screaming at the Usos, talking his trash, getting the WWE Universe completely behind him. He rolled Jimmy back into the ring, tagged in Punk, and these two unlikely partners started working together, hitting some surprisingly effective double team moves. The chemistry that we didn't think would be there was starting to develop. Punk and Knight were communicating, trusting each other, and it was working. They hit a double suplex on Jimmy that shook the ring. They followed up with tandem strikes that had Jimmy reeling. This was not what anyone expected. The mismatch on paper was becoming a legitimate partnership in that ring. But the Usos are champions for a reason. They've been in countless big matches, faced every type of team imaginable, and they know how to weather the storm. Jey made a blind tag, and while Punk was focused on Jimmy, Jey came flying off the top rope with a massive splash that caught Punk completely off guard. The momentum shifted again, just like that. The Usos went back to work, and they were relentless. They hit Punk with the 1-2 combo, the superkicks were flying, and it looked like they were setting up for the 1D, their devastating finishing move that has put away countless teams. The crowd was on their feet, sensing that this match could end at any moment. But CM Punk is one of the greatest of all time for a reason. He caught Jimmy with a kick to the gut, hit the GTS out of nowhere. The crowd exploded. But before he could make the cover, Jey pulled him out of the ring. These brothers, they always have each other's backs, and that loyalty has won them so many matches over the years. LA Knight had seen enough. He tagged himself in, and he was ready to finish this. Knight hit Jimmy with a BFT, his devastating finishing move, but Jey broke up the pin at the last possible second. This match was chaos. All four men were exhausted, the near falls were getting closer and closer, and nobody in that arena knew who was going to win. The referee was trying to restore order, trying to get the illegal men out of the ring, but in tag team wrestling, especially at this level, rules sometimes go out the window. All four men were in the ring, trading strikes, everyone was running on pure adrenaline and instinct. Superkicks, clotheslines, strikes from all directions, this was absolute pandemonium. CM Punk and LA Knight looked at each other, and in that moment, you could see the understanding. They nodded, They knew what they had to do. Punk hit Jimmy with a roundhouse kick that sent him stumbling into Knight's arms. Knight lifted him up. Punk came off the ropes, and they hit a double team move that was absolutely picture perfect. The execution was flawless, the timing was impeccable, and the crowd was losing their minds. Jay tried to make the save, but Punk intercepted him with a tackle that sent both men crashing to the outside. In the ring, LA Knight covered Jimmy. The referee counted 1, 2, 3. It's over. CM Punk and LA Knight have defeated the Usos. The arena exploded. Nobody saw this coming. The celebration was incredible. Family. LA Knight was going crazy, screaming, "Yeah!" at the top of his lungs, acknowledging the crowd that was chanting his name. CM Punk, always cool, always collected, had a slight smile on his face, the smile of someone who just proved all the doubters wrong. These two unlikely partners had just accomplished something incredible. But let's give credit where credit is due. The Usos put on an absolute clinic in that match. They showed exactly why they're considered one of the greatest tag teams of all time. They brought everything they had. They executed their game plan perfectly, but on this night, Punk and Knight wanted it just a little bit more. The aftermath of this match has huge implications for WWE moving forward. CM Punk proved that he's still got it, that he can compete with anyone in the locker room. LA Knight proved that he belongs in the main event scene, that he's not just a microphone guy, he can deliver when it matters most. And the Usos, this loss is going to light a fire under them. You know they're going to want revenge, they're going to want to prove that this was a fluke. The possibility of a rematch is already being discussed all over social media. Fans are clamoring for it. Could we see Punk and Knight team up again? Will the Usos invoke their rematch clause? And what about the rest of the tag team division? Every team in WWE just saw that the Usos are beatable, and that's going to create a whole new dynamic. There's also the question of whether CM Punk and LA Knight could become a regular tag team. The chemistry they showed in this match, the way they worked together, it was impressive. But both of these guys are main event singles stars. They have their own goals, their own paths. It would be interesting to see if WWE explores this partnership further or if this was a one-time thing. What we witnessed was more than just a tag team match, family. This was a statement. This was CM Punk and LA Knight telling the entire WWE roster that they're forces to be reckoned with. This was the Usos being pushed to their absolute limit by two men who refused to back down. This was professional wrestling at its finest, four incredible athletes giving us everything they had for our entertainment. The storytelling in this match was phenomenal. The early tension between Punk and Knight, wondering if they could work together. The Usos, dominance and experience showing through in the middle portions. The hot tags, the near falls, the dramatic moments that had everyone on the edge of their seats. This is why we love professional wrestling, family. This is why we tune in every week. Wrestling vs. Family. This match is going to be talked about for a long time. This is the kind of match that gets shown in highlight packages, that gets remembered years from now. CM Punk and LA Knight defeating the Usos is a massive moment, and if you missed it, you need to go back and watch it immediately. What did you think of this match? Were you surprised by the outcome? Do you want to see Punk and Knight team up again? Do the Usos deserve an immediate rematch? Drop all your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, and I love hearing from you guys. Let's get a conversation going in the comments section. If you enjoyed this breakdown, you know what to do. Smash that like button, it really helps the channel grow and tells me you want more content like this. Subscribe to Wrestling vs. CC if you haven't already. We're building an incredible community here, and I want you to be part of it. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. We've got so much more wrestling content coming your way. Share this video with all your wrestling friends. Post it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you hang out online. Let's spread the word about Wrestling vs. CC and grow this community together. You can also follow us on social media at Wrestling vs. CC for daily wrestling updates, behind the scenes content, and so much more. Thank you so much for watching Wrestling vs. Family. Your support means everything to me, and I couldn't do this without you. I'll catch you in the next video where we'll break down more incredible wrestling action. Until then, keep acknowledging greatness, keep saying, yeah. And keep being the best wrestling community on YouTube. Peace out, family.